Bueno, buenas cabros, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos ya al tercer capítulo de Death Round Show. En esta ocasión tenemos a un gran invitado. Tenemos al señor Nibbs Carter de Saxon. Hi sir, how are you?
Fantastic. It's nice to be able to speak with you in Chile. I'm in North America at the moment.
Okay, how are you?
Very good. I'm enjoying the sunshine and fresh air and running in the wild.
Awesome. Dale, Ale. Creo que la primera pregunta.
Hi, Ned.
Hi. How are you doing?
Good. My first question is about the return to the States after almost a year of pandemic and even all of them suspended because of it. How did it feel for you to be back to the States?
To be back on the stage?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was fantastic. It was a little bit difficult. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I'm in America at the moment, and the show was in England, and everything was changing every day. You know, you had to get tested here, you had to get tested there, and I had to have tests ready waiting for me in Britain. When I arrived there, I had to have them already booked. And it wasn't easy, but when we actually got to the show, it was fantastic. Really, really good. But even at the show, I know some people that got infected around that weekend, you know, with the coronavirus. So it wasn't straightforward. And then when I came back a couple of days later, I was tested negative. But you never know. You can be negative 1 minute and then be positive and not even know it.
Bueno,
So it was fantastic to be on the stage, but to tell you the truth, it was just a relief to be able to be there and to be able to come back here to my family in America. We're on vacation. My wife has a house here, but it just happens that we were on vacation at this time, and it was just a big relief to be able to do the show, and the show was great. The show was fantastic. The crowd was amazing, and I think that the crowd were the same in that they had the relief that they could go and see a show. You know? So everybody had the feeling of just, finally, you know.
Bueno, Nibbs responde ahí que claro, que fue difícil porque tuvieron que testearse, ¿cierto? Testearse al salir de Estados Unidos. Chole era Inglaterra y en este momento está de vacaciones con su familia en Estados Unidos. Fue complicado, pero que tanto él como la banda, como el público que estaba ahí, se sintió aliviado de por fin ver música en vivo, de por fin verlos a ellos en vivo. Claro que no fue simple porque comenta que gente se contagió ese fin de semana o alrededor de la fecha y que ese testeo salió negativo, pero que claro, como funciona el coronavirus, en un rato uno puede estar negativo y al siguiente rato uno puede estar positivo, hay que hacerlo con mucho cuidado, pero que se sintió aliviado y el show estuvo espectacular. Dale, la segunda.
Ned,
Yeah.
about the new wave of British heavy metal, can you tell us how it was for you to be part of it in this wave?
Oh, sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
How is for you to be part of the new wave of British heavy metal from your perspective?
Yeah, it's well, I wasn't actually part of it. I was actually buying the stuff, you know, because when Saxon first started, in 1979, you know, I was 13 years old, and then I started buying stuff around like 1980, stuff from the Wheels of Steel album. I would go out and buy singles, and then the same with Strong Arm of the Law and Denim and Leather. I would just go out and buy the singles, and so I was part of it because I was supporting it. but I didn't join the band until like '88.
But from a fan perspective, how was it to be a part of the new wave of British heavy metal?
Well, I didn't even realize that it was anything unusual or anything special. It was just because I was 13, 14 years old, and I was just starting like at the higher. I was starting with like the comprehensive school, like the high school, and that was cool because I was meeting lots of kids that were not from my immediate area. You know, you start to meet people from further out of town and stuff, and then you learn, you know, you learn lots of new habits, you know, sport, girls, smoking, drinking, and then I that's when I started playing, actually, around the same time. 14 years old, 13, 14 years old. I was playing like a 6-string guitar one of my brothers gave me, but I didn't have a bass guitar, and then I got a bass guitar when I was about 14, so that was around the time that I started listening to heavy rock. But I was already listening to Rush and Thin Lizzy and stuff because of my brothers and sisters, you know. So I think I didn't really think it was anything like new or like a movement. It just felt like that's what you do when you're 14 or 13. You know, you get a denim jacket and you put Saxon on the back or AC/DC, and then you go to the school disco and you just freak out and headbang all the time and do the same at the youth club. And so, but by the time I joined the band, I realised that things had moved on in England. But when we toured like Germany in 1989, it was like nothing had changed, because we went on tour in 1989. We were on tour with Manowar and Sabat, Lizzie Borden, Fate's Warning, and the fans over there, they were just dressed like it was 1979, and they were just going crazy. And when you went back to England had already like kind of split up into different kinds of heavy rock. You know, they were already looking towards, I don't know, things had changed quite a lot from like 1985 up to 1990, definitely. But Central Europe seemed to stay more with the early 80s, you know. I don't know why, but England had kind of moved on and was looking for something different. But I think it had a lot to do with MTV, to tell you the truth, you know, in the middle of the 80s. But by the time it came to 89, then I realised that people still really love that early stuff. And it was funny, it was like a license to be 14 years old again. Even though I was like 22, 24, you could see that all the kids were like, yeah, it's still 1980.
Él explica que se unió a la banda mucho después de que la era del New Wave of British Heavy Metal ya se había acabado, ¿cierto? Que
A little bit too sweet.
¿Cómo se llama esto? Pero fue mucho tiempo después, fue cuando se fue de gira, por ejemplo, a Alemania, que se dio cuenta que esa había sido una era grande, porque ya Inglaterra rápidamente siguió adelante, y cuando se fue de gira junto con, por ejemplo, Manowar, Fate's Warning, el 89 por Alemania, la gente ahí se comportaba como si todavía fueran los 70, ¿cierto? Justo cuando esta era de metal ya estaba empezando. Él obviamente partió como fanático dentro de esta era. No la encontró muy especial. Bueno, el nombre lo pusieron los periodistas mucho tiempo después, pero yo creo que él explica que para él era simplemente banda sacando buena música. Ya venía escuchando cosas como Rush, y simplemente cuando estas otras bandas empezaron a aparecer y sacando música nueva, era como algo bacán, pero no algo muy especial. Eso fue después cuando se unió a la banda. Y él explica, claro, que Inglaterra rápidamente avanzó, pero que la parte central de Europa como que se mantuvo atascado con este sonido bien del heavy metal clásico temprano, heavy metal inglés, que todavía seguía pegando y bueno, se nota en la influencia. Dale con la tercera. So, sir, I wanted to ask you about the new album. If there is any news you can give us of the new record.
Yeah, the working title is Carpe Diem.
Carpe Diem?
Yeah, I don't know if you already knew about that.
No, we didn't.
Okay, Carpe Diem, in Latin and English means seize the day. You know, live for the day, take the moment, live in the moment. And I think that's going to be the title of the album. It's the working title at the moment, and I think we're going to release the that song as like a single, probably in November. I haven't got a date for it, but just keep your ears and eyes open for that one. I expect that to be probably a teaser around November, and I think the release date for the actual album is going to be February. There are 10 songs on there, and it's already been around actually for almost about a year and a half, because we were getting ready to record it already like in February, March, April last year.
Okay.
In 2020. And then everything changed, and it wasn't so easy for me. I live in Germany. It wasn't so easy for me to go back and forward from England to Germany and back. And also, we realized that if you can't go on tour, then there's no real hurry to release a new record and not know when you can take it out on the road. So we pretty much had everything. The only thing that was missing on the record was like maybe a few guitar solos. I think Biff had already done vocals, but it wasn't complete. And when he realized he still had plenty of time to do the vocals, he thought, okay, let's wait until we have a time to release it. But it looks like I've still got maybe a year. And in that case, you didn't have to hurry, and that gives you like a luxury, if you like. You can like experiment a little bit more with your vocal performance, or maybe change the lyrics a little bit round in maybe a better presentation style. I'm not sure, but it gave us a little bit more time, and in that time, Biff had a solo album release, and we also had time to go in the studio to come up with a cover album called Inspirations, which turned out really nice. Actually, it was great fun. It was great fun to do, and I think the most work was done by Biff and the guys in England. I was in Germany. I couldn't get over to England to rehearse for the first session of learning the songs that we were going to do. You know, like Toto, AC/DC, Deep Purple. There was so much stuff on there that was, you know, a little bit unexpected. Rolling Stones, Paint It Black, and yeah, but I wasn't there to learn the first lot because I couldn't get across to England. And so when I did finally come across, that the guys had already rehearsed the songs quite a lot. And when I arrived, I just arrived just to record. And that was quite funny because I hadn't hardly run through the songs at all. But it worked out really good. It was a good vibe because of the environment that we did it in was a really big, like, stately home. And we were using the library. And there is some documentary of that already on our Facebook page that you can have a look at that, the making of the inspirations. And yeah, that turned out pretty good. And then we realised there's still quite a bit of time. That this is all still in 2020 I'm talking about.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, but were the original plans were to record and release the album in 2020 if there was no pandemic?
That was the idea, because we were already pretty we'd already got most of it done. And like, it's a typical thing to record and release an album a couple of years after your last one in our status. Yeah. With some bands where they release a record and they're guaranteed a global audience and a global tour of like 2 years, then those bands will probably only release a record every 3.5, 4 years or something like that. But on our level, you have to pretty much keep it going, and we're okay with that. We like writing, we like recording, we like touring when you can. I have a cup of coffee.
Bueno, Nibbs ahí explica que el nuevo disco ya tiene título trabajado, o sea, tiene un nuevo título oficial, se llama Carpe Diem, pero quizás no sea el oficial, es solamente trajo el título como momentáneamente. Sacaron un disco de covers, se les dio el tiempo porque estuvieron mucho tiempo encerrado. Bueno, aquí Nibbs no pudo ir no pudo ensayar las canciones, pero llegó justo solamente para grabarlas. Harto cover, hay un documental en su página de Facebook porque lo vayan a ver, es un disco súper bueno el de covers. Y el nuevo disco estarían apuntando a lo mejor para sacar el primer temita este noviembre, no hay una fecha sólida. So sir, I wanted to ask you about what are your influences? What bands or artists make you started playing music and influence you?
Okay. Well, it's funny because on the Inspirations record there is Thin Lizzy, there's AC/DC, there's Deep Purple and stuff. I was hearing that stuff at school, but the only thing that really influenced me out of those bands was Thin Lizzy and AC/DC, really. Obviously I'd heard the Rolling Stones, and I suppose that was influencing me in the back of the head rather directly, and also the Beatles. It goes into your mind, the melodies are in there, and then when you're writing, sometimes subconsciously you come up with melodies that are influenced from, you know, the stuff that you've listened to but you didn't even actively think that you were studying it, so to speak. But I have older brothers and sisters, and so I was listening to all of their stuff at home: funk, rock, pop, soul, blues, heavy, melodic, all kinds of stuff through the 70s. I was born in 66, so by the time I got to that new wave of British heavy metal period, I was like teenage. And so once I started really like focusing more on heavy rock, 12, 13, 14 years old, it was 1978, 1979, and I was listening to like you know, stuff like Highway to Hell. You know, those albums were out, and Power Age and High Voltage and stuff like that, they were out, and it's great because it's heavy sounding, but it's very melodic vocals. Yeah, Bon Scott, very melodic, very charismatic, and so I didn't realize that I was listening to heavy rock because down, 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 down. Down, down around the world. It's all melodic. It's almost like it's almost like pop rock, but it's got such like balls, you know, the delivery from the band. And then I guess if you hear it loud and live, like when they released "If You Want Blood," yeah, then you realize it's not pop rock. It's really hard rock, and it's meant to be played loud. And so I was listening to that, you know, AC/DC for the joy, and Thin Lizzy, Live and Dangerous for the joy, and Rush, All the Worlds of Stage. Basically, that's like going to a another level, you know, once you're hearing Rush, because they're almost it's almost like AC/DC and Thin Lizzy are like doing the floor exercises at the Olympics, but Rush would like do a run and then a jump, and they'd land and swing around and then jump all over the place a little bit, and like, so that was a big influence, really big influence. Rush, AC/DC, Thin Lizzy, but also in the background, funk, soul, pop, rock. It's just a big mix of stuff. But I wanted to say, you know, the album that we're going to be releasing, I had quite a big input on that one, because I got a good writing relationship over the last like 3 records with Biff, in that I'd like to send him stuff whether we are writing or not, and so he'll just like put it to the side, and when it actually comes around to writing time, he'll listen through stuff, and he's already like got it there in his library, so to speak, and he'll just say to me, I like that one, you can forget that one, or that one's not bad, let's just turn it round, shuffle it around. And we got a good like good feedback with each other on how to put it together. And I think this last one, I think I felt a little bit more comfortable not trying to impress with writing, trying to sound like Saxon with an Iron Man suit on or something like that. Just be Saxon, you know. And so it actually sounds to me a little bit more like Saxon used to sound way back in the day. But of course, you know, the kind of production that you have nowadays can make it a little bit more. I don't know. You can target how you want it to sound nowadays, but the writing is a little bit more traditional Saxon, and yeah, I think it'll be perceived that way as well. I'm pretty happy with the way it's turned out.
Bueno, aquí nos explica que sus influencias más grandes son Thin Lizzy, Rush, AC/DC, ¿cierto? Que Rush vino y como a todos nos hizo explotar la cabeza. AC/DC quizás suena popero al escucharlo, pero es hard rock pesado y sin saber que está escuchando hard rock, y que esas influencias que lo han afectado a él, y como él ha ido ganando más protagonismo como escritor dentro de este nuevo disco, se va a notar en esta nueva producción de Saxon, que suena como un Saxon clásico, pero obviamente un Saxon moderno al mismo tiempo, o sea, mejor producción y cosas por el estilo, que va a sonar mucho mejor. Ale, dale con la última.
To finish, can you say a few words to the Saxon fans here in Chile?
Yes, to close out the interview, please, words to your fans here in Chile and in South America.
Yeah, I wish I could speak your language, firstly. And I'd like to learn a little bit before we come back to Chile, Santiago, and South America. Yeah, first, stay healthy. Yeah?
Yes.
And I don't know how you plan to do that, but just stay healthy. Yeah, and yeah, I really look forward to coming back down your way again, because the fans are so full of passion for our style of music. Not that fans all over the world aren't passionate about this style of music, but I think some fans don't know how to let it go, you know. And in your country, you seem to just let it go.
Yes.
Freely.
South American crowds are very crazy, yes.
Yeah. Look forward to coming to your place, and I think you'll like the next record, and I think I would expect February for a release of Carpe Diem.
Ok, bueno, aquí las últimas palabras de Nibbs, que el disco saldría en febrero. Estaba muy ansioso de volver a tocar en Chile, que el público sudamericano es muy loco, y que no es que el resto de los fanaticada no tenga una manera, no les guste el metal, pero aquí lo sabemos expresar bien, se nota. we hope you come back. We hope to see you very soon. Thunderbolt was amazing, so we hope this album is gonna kick ass as well.
I think it does.
And we hope to see you soon. We're gonna stay healthy so we can see you when it's time for you to return to South America, to Chile.
Thanks for your kind words, and take care.
Take care. Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you for your time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.